Mm. So what about what is it more detail? Like how was the Air Force? Cause Solomon he almost went.
Yeah,
So like what was
yeah.
like how was that?
The
Especially like back in
military,
the '80s.
especially like what?
Especially like back in the '80s when you went, like mid
Um,
'80s.
it was, man. The thing about the military, I was, they're all about the same.
Mm.
The thing about the different levels of military is basically, it's your intelligence. So you got to pass this test, and then depending on what you score on the test, is whether you go to the Marines, Navy, Army, or the Air Force. The higher
Mm.
you, Air Force is the highest, then the Navy, then the Army, and Marines are last.
Mm.
And so when I went though, I passed the test. I was in the Air Force, and it was great. I mean, I liked it. I'd never been away from home before, and it was on. We did a lot of partying. We had a lot of fun. I had a lot of friends, white friends and black friends. Didn't matter, and we just really had a good travel all over the world: Australia, Korea, Okinawa, Guam's where I stationed, Texas, Nebraska, Clovis, New Mexico. You just travel all over the world, man, and you meet all these different people. Like you guys are talking about going to North Carolina, that's great and everything. But if you really want to explore the world, man, go to different countries, get that knowledge and meet different people and cultures and stuff, and you'll see a lot of those countries are different, way different than this country.
Mm.
You appreciate a lot more. I'm not saying those countries are fun. I'm just saying it's different.
Mm.
Then you meet, I've met Australian women. I've met all kind of women, and that's the real fun part. Like you get to meet all different kind of women and stuff.
So
Who had
I
the
have a
best looking
question.
women?
Well, hold on, I have a
Oh,
Hmm.
question. So why did you
oh.
say Australian woman like that? Like, is there like a specific like reason?
Yes, it's different. I'm not gonna lie. Like Guam, so Guam, like I was married the whole time, but when you're an American, especially when you're a Black American, when you go to different countries, it's different. They like in the '80s, America was still was still coming out of the racist kind of thing. Like today, there's really no racism in America. It's a bunch of bull.
Hmm.
There's really no racism in America. A person, a black man can be any, a black man or a black woman can be anything they put their minds to. It's nothing. It's nothing restricting you from being great.
Mm.
Only reason that people talk about racism is because it's for separatism. Separate the whites from the blacks from the Mexicans, the Mexicans from the Asians from the Indians, and it's all to separate us and to get us to keep playing this race game so they can control us. And back in the '80s and the '70s and the '60s, it was still there was a lot of more racism. What people got to realize is there's always going to be racism. There's always going to be somebody who thinks they're better than you, just like the English and the Scottish, just like the Indians and the Muslims, just like the Catholics and the Protestants. There's always going to be somebody who thinks they're better than you. Get over it. That's why I don't live my life like that anymore. When I grew up, it was always, all white people this, white people that. People who still bow into that, they're idiots. They really are. They have no worth of themselves. And this is why I try to teach y'all, including you, AJ. I try to teach y'all that, man, the racing thing is just a game you can't win. It's always trying to teach you to try to be something that you're really not. Today, people look at you as a real man, as a real woman, and if you're a woman, and you got to start to realize that if you're getting held back by something you don't want to do in this country, it's because you're holding yourself back. And that's really the no all be all of that. Um, and what was your question again? Because I got off. Because man, that thing that really upsets me, dude. When I start talking about, I can talk about that all night. But what was your
Oh, like
question?
how the Air Force was like working there because you were there for like I think 10 years around that.
Yeah. Um, but you asked me something about because it got me into the racism thing. It was something before
Oh,
that.
Jerko. I asked why'd you say Australian woman, but Jerko wanted to ask who was the best looking woman.
Yeah, which
Oh, why
country
did I
had the
say
best looking women?
Australians? Oh, yeah, because Australia is a special country as far as like when you go over there. That's why I was kept saying that. like when you go to different countries, black men are looked upon a lot different. Like they just flock to us. Like when we would get off the airplanes. They like the white dudes too, but they really like the black dudes. And that's in every country I've been. And I've been to Japan. I've been all over the world in the Pacific, in Europe, not like in Spain and stuff like that, but a lot of places I've been, I was already in the Pacific, in for Guam and things like that. But man, the black man, the women they just like when you go to different countries, they just like come towards you. They gravitate towards you is what the real word is. And when I was in Australia, you know, we go out to clubs and stuff, and the women would just be all over us. We would go to all of us, you know, and I'm not saying I'm proud of this or nothing, but like all of us always had a woman when we go. There's a certain way that we carried ourselves. Black men don't really realize that we have a lot of influence. Our culture is very strong. People all over the world are really curious about us. But you know, we're stupid in this country as far as men, and we don't understand our power as a man. And when we go out to other countries, they look at us different than here. Like now, here though, like from the 2000s on, 24 years, then I would say even the middle 90s till now. You know, there's no reason for any man, any black, especially a black man, to be a failure. It's really not. You're a failure because you're a failure. You're not a failure because you don't have the opportunity. Because people look at us different. And that's why me and your mother tried to raise y'all to not think about this black-white thing, because what it really does is hold you back. It really, really does. That mindset, man, is crazy. That's why the Democrats get their bus whooped. Because Donald Trump was not like that. He was trying to tell like you can be anything you want to be. There's nothing holding you back. Yeah, the economy's not the best it can be. I'm going to fix that for you. But after that, you got to be your own man and get your act together. And you can do that.
Right.